you being born in Chihuahua, Mexico,
yes.
Parral, and growing up in Mexico, Chavez was the man. You grew up with him; it's part of the culture. I'm kind of curious though, how did you fall into MMA then? Given that boxing's so tied to our culture and tied to the culture in Mexico.
All right, so I started in Taekwondo whenever I was 5 years old, and I practiced that sport for 8 years, and after that sport I practiced judo, and after that I practiced boxing. And whenever I start practice boxing, it become easy for me, just because athleticism and all the stuff. And my coach used to ask me, like, "Are you sure that you didn't do boxing before, like this time?" I'm like, "I'm sure, like I never did." All right, because you're good on it. You think you're gonna learn fast then. But I also was trying to kick and all the stuff. He was like, "No, you can't, don't kick, you can't." And I was like,
"Estás patando, güey, ¿qué estás haciendo?"
So it was funny for me. He was trying to kick and all the stuff. He, "Don't kick in here. Don't take them down. Don't kick him. You can't do that." Okay, I was like, all right. So I was trying just to learn that. But with the pass of the time, I was just, I like it, but it doesn't fulfill me out. Like as I
felt
want.
limited, huh?
I
right?
feel limited.
Yeah. Like you could do more. Like you wanted to do more.
Yeah. So after the boxing, I found kickboxing. And after the kickboxing, I found karate and jiu-jitsu. So I started putting it all together. So all right, I was like, all right. And then I found MMA. And when I finally could see everything together, I was like, all right. This makes sense for me.
Yeah. You have a big fight coming up, UFC at 211, going up against a former champion and Frankie Edgar. You're like a human highlight reel because you're like you mentioned, your Taekwondo background. You throw a lot of kicks. Your offense is very varied. How do you see that fight going up against a guy like Frankie Edgar? And then the second part too is, are you worried about throwing those kicks because Frankie's known for his wrestling?
Yeah, I know. Actually, no. I'm gonna try. I wanna try my kicks. Like he doesn't gonna stop me for trying my kicks and all that stuff. He said he's gonna be on my face all the fight, but he has to go through my legs and then he has to go through my punches and my elbows and knees and all the stuff. So it doesn't matter, bro. It's just an MMA fight. You gotta be prepared for everything. Any situation you gotta be prepared for. If you are an MMA fighter and then you're just hoping to win with a punch or just with your wrestling, you're screwed. You can't make it that way. You can just do that. If you're an MMA fighter, you gotta be prepared for every single sense of your fighting game. So I'll be prepared. If you wanna wrestle me, I will wrestle him back, or do some jiu-jitsu or whatever. I'm not worried about what can happen up there in the fight because I'm sure about. I mean, I'm 24 years and I've been in contact sports 19 years. So this is not new for me. I know you guys think I'm new on this, but I've been 19 years on all this. So I've been in contact sports all my life. So this is just what I love to do. Is what I've been doing all my life, and I'm not new on this. So
it's an interesting time right now in combat sports, and I'll get to the most pressing topic, but this one's an interesting thing too. You have the unification bout in your division, but who do you consider the champion? Because a lot of people are like, well, why they stripped Conor, and others are like, well, they stripped him because he's not active, he hasn't fought since he won the belt. Others are like,
he's fighting boxing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, who do you consider the champ right now in your eyes?
Max Holloway is the champion right now. Like it doesn't matter if he lost against Conor McGregor. It doesn't really matter because Conor McGregor is not more around. Until he come back and he fights for that, the title, he'll be the champion. But of course, nobody can take that belt away because he already won it. He already earned it. But the champion right now is Max Holloway. I think that's the thing.
In terms of that as well, how do you think you would pair up with Conor? Because that'd be a really cool fight. And Matt, our videographer, told us it'd be a fight where there's spinning shit everywhere. How would you see a potential fight with him?
I mean, I don't know if one day it's gonna happen because I don't know if Conor is coming back to MMA, but. I think it's gonna be great. If one day happens, I think it will be great. Because he's such an athlete, and I really respect him, and I look up to him because the way that he thinks is really smart, and his boxing is really good. His kicks are really good. I would love to be in a fight with him. Why not? Why not? With all respect, why not? I think it can be a really, really good matchup.
In terms of the interesting thing, which is him trying boxing What do you make of all that? Because we're seeing now, because of that, a lot of boxers are wanting to go ahead and fight MMA fighters and vice versa. A lot of MMA fighters now wanting to fight boxing. What's your just take on that overall, of that happening in combat sports at this point?
Right, I think people forget about this, but Conor McGregor used to be a pro boxing fighter before an MMA fighter. You know, I think he will do really well. You know, we see him; his boxing is really good. It's amazing. You know. And he puts all his effort in everything that he does. You know, that's why he became champion twice, and now he's looking for another stuff. You know, he's just trying to achieve more goals and goals and goals and goals and goals. I don't blame him for that. You know, he's just doing his own stuff. Yeah. It doesn't matter who say no. It doesn't matter who say shit. He doesn't give a fuck. You know, which is nice. It's good. You know, I love that. You know, I'm kind of the same way. I don't give a fuck. You know, and well, if other guys try to go on boxing or do whatever, I mean, I don't really. You know, I love MMA. This is what I love to do. Yeah. You know, and I won't change it for anything. So it's just the way that I see stuff.
For this fight with Frankie, and we'll end it on this note, you had a very dominant performance against BJ. Do you feel that you'd have just as of dominant performance against a guy like Frankie Edgar, something where it's like really put your stamp on him and maybe make him consider retiring at this point?
I don't know if he's gonna retire at this point, even if he loses against me. I don't think so. You know, I think he's really, really strong. He seems complete. You know, he's 34 years old, if I'm not wrong, and you know, he seems really, really complete. And you know, and I don't see him retire soon in the sooner future. I think he's gonna keep on fighting.
Do you think it might be similar to the type of fight you had with BJ, or are you expect it to be completely different?
I think they are both are really, really different. You know. Of course, I'm looking for the same results. Yeah. You know, who doesn't? Like, you know, who's going there thinking of losing? Nobody. You know, you gotta go and think that you're gonna win. You're gonna win how you think about. You know, and on my mind is the way that it's gonna be. You know, if it's not the way that I want it to be, I'll be ready for whatever it comes next. You know, the things not always go to your way, but you gotta find a way to make stuff go in your way. You know, so yeah, make things happen. Yeah.
Yair, man, thank you so much, man. It was a good pleasure meeting you. Great chatting with you as well. Yair Rodriguez, of course, going up against Frankie Edgar, coming up at UFC at 211, as we're here for the Canelo versus Chavez Jr. Fight Week festivities. The fight is this Saturday, May 6th, on pay-per-view.